What's up guys, and welcome to this YouTube video. Today I'm going to be taking you through a glute workout, a full glute and hamstring workout with a voiceover explaining exactly how to get the most glute recruitment, aka booty gains, out of your workout. And before we get into that, welcome to the beast I unleash. I'm a motherfucking beast. I do have my air fryer in, and I'm going to show you guys how I make sweet potato fried chip sort of things. Not really sure, they're kind of in between. It's really exciting, and if you don't have an air fryer, it's a great way to make fried food like potato chips, french fries, and you can do it all without oil. So it's a really great way to have the same kind of crunch factor as a healthy option. So it's definitely a worthwhile investment. This is my air fryer. It is from Black & Decker, and it actually has the times for certain foods right here on it, which I think is super cool. And then it comes with these two cookbook things as well. You just plug it in and turn the temperature on. For sweet potato chips, we're gonna be doing 400, which is like all the way around. And then you just turn the timer on to like 3 to 5 minutes above how long it takes to cook it so that it has time to preheat. Alright guys, I'm going to speak up a little bit, but I have 5 ounces of sweet potato in here, just chopped up into little fries. I've got salt, cinnamon, and a little bit of truvia on there, so they're nice and thin. And now I've got this set on 20 minutes. You just open, in they go. How beautiful. And the timer just keeps on running. So I'm gonna let this go because it's at like 18 down to 0, and then check on them then. But I'm gonna take them out and shake them at like 9 or 10 minutes in. Also, I wouldn't qualify this as cheating, but I did spray them with a light coat of PAM instead of oil when I put them in. But you can also do it plain if you're worried about any fat from the PAM. Turned it off already. This is what they look like. Dump it out to here. They look good. I like them real crispy, so I let them burn a little bit. Ten out of 10. Really good. I hope you guys enjoyed that quick, easy sweet potato fry recipe. Tastes really good with salt on it. Tastes really good with truvia on it. Today I did truvia and it's absolutely delicious. And now we're gonna move right into the glute workout full tutorial. So let me know if you guys like that. Leave a comment down below if you want to see anything else from me, and I will see you guys at the end of this video. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to this voiceover for this glute workout. First thing I want you guys to know is that the entire workout is going to be in the description box below, so you guys can screenshot it if you're on your phones, or you can just take a picture of it if you're on your computer. So trying to make it really easy for you guys to take this workout with you and try it on your own. Check out the description box below. We're gonna get right into it. So the first exercise that we're doing is barbell hip thrusts. And you can see here I'm just doing body weight sets, getting the glutes firing, getting the glutes activated. I typically will warm up with 5 to 10 minutes on a cardio machine to get the blood flowing, and then do some sort of band work or activation work before this. So just know that went in before I started filming. And then I started doing body weight, banded hip thrusts with the bar. You can see here I'm just trying to get the glutes firing and ready to take the full load of this movement. So the reason I have the band above my knees is so that I can push my knees out against it and use my abductors, so the side of your glutes, a little bit more in the movement. And then when you're not loading the bar up with weight, I just like to sit on the box and pull the bar over and then sit down onto the ground. But here you can see I'm using 135, so I can just roll the bar over my hips, and that's the easiest way to get it on and off. So I'm warming up again with 135 pounds. So you saw on the screen that I was doing acclimation sets all acclimation sets are sets leading up to the working sets where you get heavier and heavier over time. Typically I'll do like 2 or 3 of these so that your body gets used to the weight you're going to use and you're not just putting yourself at risk for injury by throwing on your working weight right away as soon as you've warmed up. So after I've done a couple acclimation sets, I didn't even film all of them, I went up to my working weight of 235 pounds for sets of 9 to 10 reps. I actually didn't complete all 4 sets at this rep range. I was feeling kind of weak that day, so I got 8.5 reps on my last set, which you guys will see. But cues for the barbell hip thrust is you want to keep your chin down, as you can see I'm doing here. You want to tuck your chin, and that's going to put your pelvis in a position that's not going to put your lower back at risk for hyperextension. And I superset every set with seated banded abductors, which is why you just saw that there. So you're tucking your chin down, making sure you're preventing lower back injury. You're pushing through the heel of your foot, your heel and your midfoot, but most of the weight should be pushing right through that heel. You should have your knees at a 90-degree angle, no more, no less. This is the best way to get the most glute recruitment. If your feet are out in front of you more, then you're gonna get more hamstring activation. If your feet are behind you, it's not really a safe position for your knees and feet to be in. Another cue for the barbell hip thrust is when you're bringing the bar down, bring it down like you're bringing it down towards your heels rather than down towards the box that you're using. So this actually can help protect your spine as well because you're bringing it down so the path of the bar is straight instead of a curved line. Lastly, I guess I'll just say that I'm using the aerobic step up boxes, and this is what I've always done for hip thrusts. I found that the bench can be too high, so I use 6 stacks on each side and then a connector in the middle, and this always works really well for me. I like to put it up against something stable so that when I'm pushing on it, it doesn't move, but this is what works really well for me. And then here you're gonna see that I get 8.5 reps. I wouldn't really count that last one because I didn't get to parallel, but oh well. Next week I'm gonna try 4 sets of 10 and hopefully we'll feel better doing them. Finally, after the 4 working sets, I do a burnout set of just 135 pounds. It feels like a feather at this point after having 235 pounds on your hips. But I just do a set until failure and really just go slow and focus on the contraction of my glutes and really burn out the muscle. And I even tried doing some reps with my hands off of the bar, which didn't really work, but I just was playing around, I guess. And I got 14 or 15 reps in this set, and those were barbell hip thrusts. So moving on, the next exercise that I did was barbell Romanian deadlifts. So you can see in the first clip that I'm putting on Versa grips. So that's what's around my wrists. Basically what they do is they wrap around the bar and they wrap around your wrists to take the pressure off of your forearms and your grip strength. So this is 115 pounds, that's a 35-pound plate on each side. And honestly, I just can't grip it on my own for 13, 14, 15 reps. So I'm using the Versas, and you can see from this angle that they wrap around the bar and it really makes gripping the bar easier. So if you feel that your grip is giving out before your hamstrings on Romanians, these are a worthy investment. I guess I'll put the link down below for you guys. But cues for Romanian deadlifts. First of all, you want a slight bend in the knee the entire time. Your knees are never gonna lock out, but they're never gonna bend more than that initial bend. So you're not squatting the weight down, you're not doing a conventional deadlift. You're keeping everything stiff, but you're not locking your knees out. You're gonna focus on pushing your hips back. So if the bar wasn't out in front of you, you should basically fall backwards because that's how much weight of your body and your hips that you're supposed to be pushing back behind you. Your weight should be going into your heels as you push back, and then from the back, you should initiate the movement from the glutes to pull up rather than thinking about just pulling weight up. Think about pushing your heels into the ground and pushing your glutes towards your torso. It's almost like the top of a hip thrust at the top of every Romanian deadlift. And then here I'm doing a drop set on the final set of my deadlifts. So the drop set is just cutting the weight down and performing a set to failure. Here I'm just using 25-pound dumbbells. It's kind of a mechanical drop set in that sense because I'm changing the mode of the exercise, but I'm just doing a burnout set with 25s to finish off the Romanian deadlifts. Then we moved on to Smith machine box step-ups. So I just pulled a bench underneath the Smith machine and put it in the middle. And here you can see I have no weight on the Smith machine because this bar actually provided a little more resistance than the one at my home gym that I'm comfortable with. So I'm gonna be getting used to this. But basically, cues for the step up, you can see my foot is out in front of me on the bench. I like to set up the bench out where my knee would be at a 90-degree angle in front of my torso. And why I do this is because I get a lot more glute and hamstring activation out of this angle. I get less quad activation in this setup. You can see that I'm going pretty slow, and the purpose for this is that I am not using any momentum from the back leg. And I had to pause here because I bend over and I still have hamstrings even when I'm like at my heaviest. You can see that I'm pushing up very slowly, and that's because I'm initiating the movement from the front leg. All that means is that I'm not using any bounce from the back leg. I am just pushing from the front leg from the beginning to get up, and I actually added 5 pounds on each side and it got too heavy to the point where I did have to use my back leg for these final reps. So I'm actually breaking the form that I'm talking about to you guys, and the next set after that I took the 5 pounds off and performed it correctly. You'll really feel it in that under butt like glute ham tie-in that you can kind of see working in this clip when you're doing this correctly, because you're going to be initiating from that area of your front leg every single time. So make sure that your weight is in the heel of your front foot. There's no weight in your back leg and there's no push from your back leg. So as you can see here, I'm cheating a little bit, but I did reset the weight down to 0 pounds per side so that I could finish my third and final set with much better form. Next, we moved on to Smith machine sumo stance squats. So these are pretty simple. All you do is you take a very wide stance, a little bit farther than shoulder width apart. Your toes are going to be slightly pointed out, and you're just going into a squat. And what I love about these sumo squats is that when you get to the bottom, your glutes are basically stretched out sideways, which is the way that the muscle fibers run anyways. And so you can get a really good contraction by thinking about your glutes spreading apart at the bottom and then squeezing them together up at the top. So I just did 3 sets of 15 here with just 10 pounds per side. Again, this Smith machine provided a lot of resistance that I was not used to, and I was trying to get used to the angle that it was sitting at, but 15 reps there, and then I superset the sumo Smith machine squats with sumo stance, just banded bodyweight squats to just keep my heart rate up and to burn out the glutes just a little bit more. So you can see I'm squeezing at the top of every rep. When you're using a band, it's so important to just push your knees out against it. That's gonna activate your glutes so much more. Here's just another angle of the sumo squat. I decided to add the band for my second and third sets. It's because I'm pushing my knees more out against that band to engage my glutes more in the movement. You can throw a band onto basically any squat exercise and feel it a lot more in your butt. I can pretty much guarantee it if you're consciously pushing your knees out against that band. Next, we move on to a barbell curtsy lunge. So here I just have a barbell on my back, and a curtsy lunge is a reverse lunge where you're stepping not only back but across and out behind you to the side. So what this does is this engages your outer glute, your gluteus medius, abductors, all the stuff on the side of your butt, the outer quad. These also challenge your balance if you're not using a Smith machine or something. So I really like these. I feel them in a different area than I do with any other sort of lunge. Here I'm doing 15 reps per leg, just going really slow and making sure to push out of the front foot. With any lunge, the biggest cue to feeling it in your glute and hamstring is 1, to take a very big step. So I'm trying to take a very long step backwards for the curtsy lunge. That's gonna be stretching out the front hamstring. And then the second most important cue is to step up with your front leg. You shouldn't be pushing much, if at all, with your back foot. And you should be getting most of your momentum and most of the push out of that front heel, the front foot. And that's what's gonna get your glutes involved in the movement. Now with these curtsy lunges, I superset them with banded glute kickbacks. I just did 15 reps per leg, just again, something to keep my heart rate up and to burn out the glute muscle more. So with the banded kickbacks, I'm just staying kind of upright and kicking my knee back. So I'm not thinking about where my foot is, I'm thinking about where my knee is. If my knee is completely in line with my torso, that means that I've reached full hip extension. Hip extension is where your glutes are firing the most at full hip extension, basically where your torso and your legs are in a straight line. So if I'm kicking back to that point, then I'm getting full glute activation. The next superset is cable glute kickbacks with standing cable hamstring curls. So the cable glute kickback, pretty simple, same thing as the banded kickback. Think about where your knee is, not where your foot is. You can have a straight leg or a bent leg when you're kicking. As long as you reach full hip extension at the top, your glutes are gonna be engaged pretty much the same. But make sure to always be bending that leg that you're standing on and not locking your knee out. Just never lock your knee out on pretty much any leg exercise or any exercise ever. It's just not good to lock your knees. And I'm staying a little more upright on these cable kickbacks so that I can get into hip extension a little bit easier without kicking so much. So if I were bending fully forward and was fully parallel to the ground, it'd be a lot harder for me to get my knee parallel with my torso, if that makes sense. Then we superset that with a standing cable hamstring curl. So cues for this are to first stand on elevation. It's not really gonna work if you're standing at the cable's level because then you're not pulling up. You wanna make sure you're keeping your knee in the exact same place as you pull. So this is gonna challenge kind of your leg stability as you're pulling, but make sure to keep your knee in one place and you're just bringing your heel up just like any seated hamstring curl or lying hamstring curl machine. It should look pretty much the same as if you were doing a single leg movement on a machine. And we got another hamstring shot here. But I just like to make sure that I'm squeezing my hamstrings really hard at the top of this movement so that I feel it as much as possible in my hamstring. Then I moved on to a seated calf raise machine. So this is probably my favorite way to train my calves. And I do more calves on my other leg day of the week, so this was the only exercise that hit them on this workout, but you can certainly add calf exercises if you want to this workout as well. But basically I'm just doing 3 sets of 10 reps here, making sure to not use my hands to pull on the weight and just use my calves contracting to push the weight up. I'm making sure that the ball of my foot is planted on that platform for my feet there. I'm making sure that my heels get all the way down at the bottom of every rep, and then I'm pushing into the balls of my feet and I'm pushing straight up. So if you are doing a calf raise and your heels kind of roll out and you're pushing into the sides of your feet, you need to go lighter and you need to focus on full calf extension towards the ball of your feet. That's the best way to train your calves, and if you're not doing that, then you're not fully recruiting the muscle. I did a drop set on the last set of these calf raises, and again, a drop set is just dropping the weight and performing more reps to failure. I just took the 25 off of the 45. I think I only got like 6 reps. It was really hard, but make sure you're maintaining good form, even in a drop set, even in something to failure, really working on that mind-muscle connection. After that, moved on to seated hamstring curl machine. So I was gonna do lying hamstring curl machine, but it was taken at the moment, and then when I started filming, of course, it freed up right away. But here with this, you just wanna make sure you're thinking about pulling with your heel towards your butt, contracting your hamstrings at the back of the movement. It's very easy to go through this movement without actually thinking about your hamstrings being activated, but if you're consciously thinking about squeezing them tight, you're gonna feel it a lot more. I also suggest flexing your feet up like I am here in this clip for every portion of the rep. Looking at this clip, I definitely could have scooted the back portion of the seat up to match where my torso was. If you're going really heavy on these, make sure that the seat's in the right position, but I was kind of going lighter for higher reps, so it didn't matter so much, but I definitely could have fixed that. Lastly, I did 3 sets of 15 cable glute pull throughs. Cues for these: take a sumo stance, toes pointed out slightly. The weight of your body should always be in your heels. I like to keep my chin tucked for most of the reps so that I'm getting my spine into a posterior pelvic tilt at the top when I squeeze. Just make sure you're bringing the weight back behind you and you're bending your knees but also pushing your hips back. So like a combination of a squat and a Romanian deadlift. And then as I pull up, I like to think about, I pretend that I'm on a hip abductor machine, so where you're pushing your knees out. And from the bottom, I will actually think about pushing my knees out before I think about standing up. So push out, stand up, squeeze the glutes together, and make sure your knees are spread the entire time. And I think that's the best way you're gonna get a good squeeze out of these glute pull throughs. So let me know if any of these tips helped you. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the voiceover. And thank you guys so much for watching this glute workout, and I will catch you guys in the next part of this video. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you for making it all the way through to the end. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to be uploading every Tuesday and Friday from now on for the rest of the summer, so make sure to subscribe for more content like this. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.